Hey, everyone.
Got it.
Got it. Hey, Brighton.
Got it.
Got it.
Let's see.
Hello, Calvin.
Lined up here. How's it
You're
going,
right, John.
John T?
How's it?
Cool. Here we go. We can start. Good evening and welcome to it. It's a Tuesday night, which we decided to bring you Monday Night Football because, of course, in South Africa, there was a public holiday observed on the Monday. Human Rights Day took precedence. So we figured we'd allow you to go out there, have fun, enjoy your Monday fun day, and bring this show out to Tuesday in this short week. And so on that note, I'd like to welcome my panel. It is a full house tonight. I will start with Calvin Sosibo joining us. We also have Brighton in the house on the back of the launch of his new app. We're going to talk about that in a moment. We've also got Coach Kevin Johnson joining us and a friend of the show. We haven't seen him in a while. John T. Mark joins us as well on this Tuesday, the 22nd of March. So there we go. Lots to speak about, but let's start with you, Mr. My Football CV. Maybe you can break that down to us as to what it is, how someone like Coach Kevin Johnson can use it, how can someone like John T., who's a journalist, use it, and what was the purpose behind all of this? I know we've done a whole launch and it's on our platform, but very quickly for the uninitiated. Welcome, Brighton.
No, thanks for having me back, guys. I missed you so much. And obviously I missed your viewers as well. Oh, our viewers, actually.
Yeah, there we go.
The family. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, my football CV.
Yes, my football CV. Well, we looked at different avenues and said, look, these aspiring footballers are always posting their short clips on Instagram, on Twitter, and whatnot. And then we looked at LinkedIn and decided that, look, obviously for LinkedIn in the corporate space, that's where all the big bosses interact with the junior accountants and so forth. And then we can create that same platform, the same market where we say in my football CV, we want to give opportunities where there were less and try and improve our development football, especially as when you subscribe, you are able to subscribe as a footballer, you're able to subscribe as a coach, or you're able to subscribe as an agent. So therefore, it's an open market for everyone to enhance our career endeavors as well. So we are saying within my football CV, you subscribe, and we've already partnered obviously with European teams as well, and we're trying to get endorsement from our local teams as well to say that's the space where you can obviously get to check the guys when they post their clips and so forth. You get to scout your talent, and there's also an events column below, whereby as Coach Kevin doesn't have to go that far, an extra mile as to scout a player. He can start by checking it from my football CV, and if he likes what he sees, then there's an events column where the player will probably post and say, I have a game over the weekend. Then if you're really interested enough, you can go there. And as for Coach Kevin Johnson, since he's still not attached as well, he can subscribe, and then he starts throwing in his clips while he was at Alali, while he was still at Platinum Stars as well. And then Ishoko is one of the few drills that he can, and then we'll never know when obviously any agent who's interested or any team that's interested, they can get to see his work. So that's basically what my football CV is about, just a market where we say for football lovers, let's join hands and let's enhance each other's careers as well.
Okay, great. And how's the uptake been so far?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's well received, and thank you so much, guys, for the support and the continued support as well. It really means a lot. It's a great initiative. I mean, from top of our heads idea, and then all of a sudden it's booming. So I'm happy, and I'm trying now. We are actually with my partner as well, Opamanyisa. We're trying and implement new stuff within there and try and give these boys the exposure that they need. And especially because the whole idea is to grow South African football and give exposure to the guys who have lost hope from playing and so forth. So those are the opportunities we want to create. And as well as obviously it doesn't discriminate, it's for any gender, any race, any nationality. So we want to enhance women football as well and empower everyone basically within the football market space.
Coach Kevin, how exciting is that, as opposed to having dodgy agents knocking down your door and trying to do 2-for-1 specials and all sorts of funny deals? Now you can decide on your own if you like the look of a player.
I'm involved, Brighton. I'm involved. I think it's a good initiative, and this is what forward thinking is all about, Gamza. and I said this to a couple of youngsters the other day that I had a chat with, is they all have iPads, they all have phones, and they're all able to look. And I think this is a very good idea to take them away from the unrealistic things that we normally see on YouTube and things like this. This is more, for me, it's really more realistic. It's something that you can almost touch. And I'd like to give Brighton the ups. It's something that the new generation thinks about, and this is what's going to happen. And like I say, my CV's coming, Brighton. I hope I get a free month or 2 months subscription free, so I can put in all my drills and things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, to add on that, and to add on that, Coach, obviously I love how you're saying it's realistic and so forth, because we have training camps lined up as well. So we're gonna have training camps on a month-to-month basis where we can assess players. So that's where now all the coaches that subscribe, they get to take charge of the training camps to showcase their skills as well, because they are there as well to boost their careers as well. So within those training camps, we'll be offering life skills, and we'll be giving opportunities to basically everyone. And then as an agent, you get an opportunity to strike it both. You get to unearth a new coach, and you get to unearth a new player, so it's a win-win for everyone, basically.
There we go. You can maybe scout and find Calvin Sosibo, who's a player and a coach, right? I mean, Sosi, are you on the platform? What's your take?
Yeah. I'm subscribed already. I'm the first member there.
Okay.
You're
Now that's
patient
good
zero.
to hear. Patient zero. Let's see how it goes. No, congratulations, gents. And we're gonna move on now in terms of what's been happening as far as the football is concerned. Of course, AmaZulu FC were in action, and pretty much their African adventure is in tatters. John T. Mark. This is kind of the big stages that Benny McCarthy always wanted to be on. And as much as, he's been on some of the biggest stages of the world, his players kind of shrunk as far as this campaign is concerned in the rest of Africa. What do you make of it?
Well, they had a couple of decent home wins, but overall, obviously not making it into the next round. It's their first time in the Champions League, so you've got to give them a bit of leeway. I think they'll have got good experience from it. I don't know if they'll make it again next season. It's not looking like that in terms of their league position, but I think that they did reasonably well to get to the group stages. Obviously with some good victories there, but it wasn't the greatest campaign in the group stages itself. Benny McCarthy doing as usual, blaming it on the players, sort of thing that he likes to do, which I don't think is necessarily the best coaching methodology. Maybe Kevin can give us some tips there, but the best coaches for me are the ones who tend to take it on the chin themselves and protect their players a bit. But Benny tends to lash out a bit, and I don't think that's necessarily the way forward. But AmaZulu, in the end, they've not made it. They'll be disappointed, but I think they can reflect. I think in the long term they can reflect on a first campaign in the Champions League. It's not a bad achievement to have made it all the way to the group stages.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Coach, to that point, I mean, what do you make of the style of management of Mr. Benny McCarthy? And obviously, he came into this campaign thinking that they were going to, make progress. Now you qualify. Now maybe there's some investment. Now you get your best team together. Like John T said, good home results, but just don't seem to have that mettle that's required, that streetwiseness that's required to take on teams from the rest of Africa.
Yeah, Gamza, I think, again, I can agree with John T in certain things that he says. But AmaZulu, and I said this, I think it was on our first or second show where I said, as South Africans, we are not yet in that space as far as football is concerned. We're 25 years in democracy, and Ghana have been sending players up and down. So is Senegal, so is Egypt. They're sending them up and down to wherever parts in the world, and they looking to play the Champions League because that is what exposes your players the most. And unfortunately, our players I said this before, our players don't have enough experience that have come back with them. Why Benny will say the players is because Benny has played at all those highest levels. He's played there. But he blames his players because they have not received the information from other players that have been there before. It's unlike Sundowns now. All three their coaches have been on the African planet. They know what the Champions League is all about. And some of their most experienced players are there. So the players that haven't played CAF yet have got a good feeling of what the Champions League is all about. And of course, let's not take it away. The money that Sundowns puts into the campaign, I don't think AmaZulu is able to spend a quarter of that type of money. And this is where you want your bosses also to be is, guys, if you want to go to the Champions League, you must be prepared to spend so the players can play. I think that's where we need to come out of.
Okay, no, I hear you. And Brighton, to that point, maybe we speak about, the complaints from Benny as far as recruitment and having enough of the players. Was this always going to be a learning curve for them? Because, like I say, they want to make progress, but we made the point that this is their first time at the Champions League. At this level, you do need players who've obviously been able to kind of operate at a high level. And if you don't have that reference point, we're always setting ourselves up for failure, or fans of AmaZulu setting themselves up for failure, expecting more than what's happened, considering that it takes so much to be a team that competes at that level.
Yeah, look, I love how Mark has put it, Jonty, how he's saying, look, they need to reflect. It was their first maiden season. But at the same time, how long are we going to keep on saying that? Because we keep on referring to ourselves as a footballing nation, understand? So you need to understand that when we get to that point, if you get to be in the Champions League space, you are there to try and win it, or at least go all the way to the final and lose it, those semi-finals, So time and again, it's always a case of us saying it's a first-time experience, this and that. When are we going to get to a point where we say as South Africans, we deserve to be on top in everything that we do, understand? Because we say we have one of the best leagues in Africa, so to speak. So if we're saying we have one of the best leagues in Africa, we should be having two teams in the semi-final facing each other, or raring to go and ready to face each other. Why is it that we always have Zamalek and Egypt, and Al-Ahly being in the semi-finals time and again, all those kind of things, we need to eradicating them. And then coming back to AmaZulu, I believe that Coach Benny as well, I think he also needs to reflect on himself and on a tactical point of view as well, and on a player management style as well, because we're talking about the experience that you need. And time and again, all these games, I'm still trying to understand why is Lekgonolo Majoro being sidelined, a player who's vastly experienced and who has tasted campaign with Kaizer Chiefs, with Orlando Pirates, and vets actually, So I'm thinking that if you're gonna worry about personnel, and we're talking about Majoro alone, he's a player that his numbers speak volumes. Last season alone, he was high with assists. He was one of their leading goal scorers, And then overnight, he has turned into a bad player, and that's the experience that you kind of need when you're going to continental football. So these are the things that I feel like, as coaches, we need to also look at ways where we can reflect, introspect as well, and to say on a tactical perspective and on a managerial side of things, player managerial side of things. Yeah.
I mean, so how do you kind of encapsulate the season for AmaZulu? They're sitting number 9 in the table. Mixed result out of the last 5, 1 victory, 2 defeats in the league, and 2 draws. So they've not necessarily kind of picked up from where they left off. How do you then kind of summarize what kind of season it is? Are these the teething problems en route to becoming a major contender? Or do you think they've actually kind of taken a couple of steps back instead of moving forward?
Well, I think on my side, AmaZulu at this point are low on confidence. It seems as if the background staff is not fully clued on in terms of what's happening now. What's the next stage? So if you're not going to be able to move to the next gear, then you're going to have a problem. Because as you just sum it up, as you just put it, that the results that you just pointed out. I was just looking at their Group B, which is they finished position 3, played 5 matches, won 2, lost 3, 6 points, and then scored 2 goals, conceded 5 goals. As you mentioned, that they're sitting number 9 domestically, which is they also do, compared to last season where they were, and compared to where they are now, I think there's a big drop. They came in strong. Everybody was rooting for them to keep the consistency, which is something that is missing in our football. Again, I'm going to go back to the gentleman that they've highlighted. I think time and again, we've seen coaches having players that they can use best on their position, but failing on which they're trying to have quick fix, and which is so many times you see players being shifted into position. As for example, if you see how they've played on this game, the last game that they played against Raja Casablanca, you look at their back line. On their back line, they had Velimoto, they had Kumete, there's Kumalo, Toki, and Malepe. That back four. Now you're substituting, you put Kumete on the right back, you put Skakane up front. He plays in front of him. So again, you look at the strength. Gumede has been playing much fluently, playing as a center back, which is, I feel, that's where the Achilles heel is. Great player, but if they can get a center back that can pair up with Toki or with Gumede, so they need to make up their mind in terms of how they position those players. If with the players that you had, you finish in the position that you finish second, you are close to fighting for the league. Exactly, keep on the same thing and just add a little bit of numbers on the players that you might have. Because for me, I felt that in this position, you still have enough players with a lot of experience. I mean, you have the XTA, you have Mamela, you have Buchanan, you have Bulenga, you have Tokyo, Skaka, you have Nduli, you have Mlambo in the middle. So all those players, they would have given you something. Some of them have tasted the CAF experience. Some of them have played at the highest level. So now what you need to do, blend in with those players, try to get those players to be back into their motivational stage. Now I'm trying to question this now. Are the players more fresher on their mind and being overworked on the field? Because if players are not fresher on their mind, they will not perform for you. So therefore, start looking for mechanism. What can we fix tactically? And coach, again, needs to reflect in the sense that, what is it that I'm doing? Because I had the same players. I finished second. Yes, I might need a boost there and there, but now I still have Mtembu up front. I still have Majoro. I still have Ntuli. Then what else do I need to do? Is my formation wrong? Are the players adapting to what I want them to do? Maybe not. At this point, I think they need to then sit down with the players and the coach just has to restructure, getting, say, the same energy that he got in there with those players for them to get better results.
We've heard Coach Benny talk about complacency from his players. I mean, it seems, especially with the modern day player, that there's a lack of hunger. And, when you dial it into South African players and players in this league, there just doesn't seem to be that appetite to be at their best. Because you actually see a club like Orlando Pirates, who we'll get to in a while, and how they go about, making the most of this opportunity. Do you sense there's a lack of hunger from those players for this African adventure?
I kind of go, if you're going to go comparing Pirates and AmaZulu, I think you've got to look at the opposition as well. I mean, I do think that, AmaZulu maybe could have done better. Hugo Bruce was certainly happy enough with their performance. The Bafana coach, he said he picked their players on the back of basically their Champions League performances. And I just think that also, Pirates had the Swaziland team, Royal Leopard. I mean, we'll talk about them in a bit, and Saora. If you look at the teams in AmaZulu's group,
Champions League.
Yeah.
Raja
Champions
Casablanca
League versus Confederation.
Raja Casablanca, stacks of experience on the continent. ES Seti from Algeria, stacks of experience on the continent. Even Guinea's Horoya have been in the Champions League more often than AmaZulu would have been in the Champions League. So I think if you look at it on reflection, it's fair to say that it's AmaZulu's first time. They need to sort of maybe look at it a bit philosophically and say, okay, well, we got to the group stages. That's an achievement. Next time we need to build on that. whether they can build on that. The only thing I don't want to harp on about Benny McCarthy's sort of management coaching tactics or whatever it is, but he does tend to like lay it all on the players. It goes back to when he was at Cape Town City, he did the same thing. He would always sort of speak out against his players. And I don't know, it's quite abrasive, and maybe doesn't mean for a long-term sort of stay. There's already rumours of sort of unrest or a little bit of upset at AmaZulu from before even this latest outburst. So just with that, I'm not sure about. But I do think that if you look at the quality of opposition that AmaZulu had to play compared to Pirates had to play, it's chalk and cheese. And in that sense, AmaZulu can be fairly happy with what they did. 2 home wins, 6 points. If they can get a good result in Horoya and finish 3rd in the group, maybe that's okay for them for this year, and then they can build on that.
No, there we go. Well, no, nicely put into perspective there, Jonty, in terms of the caliber of opposition. Let's move on to Sundowns, who faced Al Hilal. We know, obviously, Coach Kevin, that Sundowns coming into this one already qualified, played the most of the match with one man short, but, still were able to turn on the style, still were able to get a good result, play like they play, and essentially make a stronger and stronger case for going the distance in this tournament. Let's put it this way. They're giving us all motivation to think that they can do it. Doing it, obviously, is a Herculean effort, considering the other teams still in the mix, but looking very, very good so far, Coach.
Yeah, Gamza, for me, Sundowns are in it to win it now. They've qualified the group. They've made it to the next stage, which is the most important part, the knockout stages. And they sent a message to many people, like John just alluded to. Your Champions League. I played in the Champions League and I played in the Confederations Cup with 2 different teams. And the competition is chalk and cheese. It's completely. It's NFD and PSL, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect sense, yes.
Confederations Cup, you got NFD referees as well. Champions League, you might get a little bit better. You get guys who look to go to FIFA, who look to go to AFCON. You know what I'm saying? The Champions League. So for me, Sundowns, even though 2 draws would have been good enough, but they go to Al Hilal, to Sudan, and I've played on that stadium before. I've watched Bafana Bafana play there and lose. I've played there with Platinum Stars. I've played there with Al Ali, and it's a very, very difficult ground to go to, especially in the heat of summer. And they played there, and with 10 men, they were able to show the rest of the Champions League, because you must know, at this stage now, it's not only Ali who's watching Sundowns. It's Raja Casablanca, it's Sfaxian, it's Wydad, it's all the other bigger teams in the other groups are also watching Sundowns now. So they got to put out the best picture that they can, and they got to show no weakness. And that is what's happening with Sundowns at the moment. And I like what they're doing, because now they are, from being probably dark horses against Al Ali, they now championship horses against the rest of Africa. And that's what they're going to have to maintain.
No, for sure. I mean, we look at the situation moving forward. In the quarters, they're going to play their first leg away. Could that be a disadvantage, Coach? I mean, how ideally, how would you like it balanced as a coach? Would you like home leg away, home leg first, or home leg second?
It doesn't matter. If you're that part of the game, it doesn't matter, home or away. If you start playing, I believe that, and I figured this out as well with Ali when I was there. If you start playing with, I want to play away, I want to play home first, it buggers up the mindset. The mindset has to be the same, and it looks like Sundowns have got that, and that's what I found out at Ali as well. There was no, we want to play home, we want to play away. No, those permutations or those thoughts have, I think, they've gone past. Before, maybe 10, 15 years before, people who do this. No, I want to play the SADC countries because there I can pay more. Instead of paying $3,000 I could pay $6,000 to get the referee on my side. In Egypt, I could play. You know what I'm saying? Let's not hide away from these things.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They happen.
It is what it is.
And I told you this in my time with Platinum Stars. Shook my hand halfway on the pitch. My friend, you're losing today. I said, thank you very much.
You took it really well, I must say.
I took it on my chin. Halfway through the pitch. And I told you that. So those things I've gone, I think it's past. It's a matter of having your analyst, having your medical department, having your fitness guy all on the same page every game. Because all the teams that are on top, like Sundowns, I told you, they have to play 40, 50 games a season. The players have to know I play every third day. At the end of the season, you got 3 weeks, go on holiday.
Enjoy your money.
Enjoy your money. Exactly. Enjoy your money, go on holiday.
Nah, I hear you.
Don't, within this, every third day, you find every third day after 6 weeks, I'm sick. No, you can't. There's no room. There's no room for the top teams to be doing that anymore. It's football. And this is what I like about Sundowns. I think they've introduced football. Maybe Benny's team did not realize that, hey guys, we're playing football here. There's no time to live in Maritzburg, train in Durban, and travel up and down and say I'm playing football. You're traveling 1 hour, 1.5 hours every day. By the time you get to the 16th game, you're finished.
Yeah,
you can't do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got to balance those things properly.
Exactly. I was about to say, find the balance.
And I don't think, in my mind, in the back of my mind, Jonty, those are one of the aspects that probably AmaZulu was not able to handle.
Okay.
Those are all little things that come out. They come out
for sure.
in the end. You know what I'm saying? We're playing every third day, but my main team, my main 16, half of them are not sleeping properly. So by the time the fourth game comes in a row every third day, they're dead.
They're dead.
And that is what I found at Ali. Those players don't mess around.
Right.
That's one thing they don't do. They don't mess around with their work. Kamza, we here every Monday, 8 o'clock, you on the show. Come high or high waters. It is what it is. And this is what we have to do. Our players have to learn to respect their work.
Exactly. Okay. I mean, so see, the coach brings up a good point. I mean, I want to talk about balance and, looking at obviously Orlando Pirates almost having a similar season to that of Kaizer Chiefs, where the league was a write-off. And then, as far as continental competition is concerned, they're showing form that obviously their fans are wondering, why can't you do that in the league games? But what have you made of their run? I mean, they're looking very, very much primed to, take, in inverted commas, the NFD of African competition by storm, and add another accolade. I mean, they've got the one. Will they complete the set? Because they're looking really, really comfortable in this competition.
Yeah, I think my opinion on this Orlando Pirates, I think they've realized that all the domestic competition is outreach now. What they have right now, the motivation is to go go for CAF and try and win as many games as possible. They've done that from the onset. I don't know if the planning is a little bit different, but in terms of the competition level and how Coach Mandla Ncigazi and Fadlu have periodized for this, because this is a tournament and which is it's more intense compared to the league. And I think, again, I'll go back to what the coach has said. He spoke last week about at what state am I receiving my players on? Are they fresher when they're supposed to go to Africa? Are they well rested? Do they have enough time with the coach compared to when they play the league? When they play a league, I'm only with them for maybe 24 hours. But if I'm going for CAF, maybe at least I've got like 2, 3, 4 days with them to prepare, because they still have to go to camp, they need to travel. That harmony, that spirit gets built into those stages. But when it comes to the league, it's like you train, you go home, and then you don't monitor things that you have to eat. Your sleeping patterns changes, because on camp, things are different. There's times where they're going to take away your phones. You're not going to be on social media. So when there are principles and there's a curfew, you do understand your job, and then you have to respect it, and you perform much better compared to what's happening on the league. So I think for me right now, I think they are well managed when it comes to the CAF, and which I feel they're responding well when they are under this curfew and this discipline line that has been drawn by the coach. But as soon as they come home, we see a different Orlando Pirates, because the way we're looking at their results, they're doing so great in that. And most of the fans would be worried, why can't they have the same replica into the league? Because right now we could be talking about Orlando Pirates that is sitting second on the league, same as where well AM. So we'd expect the top 3 to be there. And now for them to be at CAF and already have qualified, it gives a very good picture to the supporters, as the coach has alluded, that when a team start winning, it's only then I will come out and then say, maybe my methods are starting to work. But domestically, it's not sweeter for the fans, because they're not receiving it well. Yes, they know it's a bigger competition, but with Orlando Pirates, everything that is on the table, you have to win it. And it comes with the price. So when you're coaching big teams, the coach would attest to that. As he just said now, coaching Ali, coaching Sundowns, coaching Platinum Stars. Once you're at the top, you're at the top, my man. So you need to maintain that standard. And the type of players that you will have is the players that are supposed to carry you through. Again, get in the psyche of the players, prepare the players well in understanding that, listen, guys, this is a different stage where you are and from where you're coming from. Keep the consistency and let's start moving forward. So for me, I think yes, they are doing quite well on the CAF platform, but on the league, I still feel that they need to improve on that side. And what's available for them now is CAF. So if they don't win this one, maybe fans won't be that forgiving. But again, a reasonable fan, which I hope we still have, will say, all right, at least they went to the knockout stages, or they go as far as the semifinals or the quarterfinals, because there's nothing on the table for them except this one.
Well put, Sosi. To that point, Brighton, let's talk about, the pressure. Are we seeing that maybe, even though you see Mamelodi Sundowns top of the table as far as they are, that pressure of trying to keep up with them and catch up to them has these players playing so, I guess, restricted as opposed to what they do, where in the competition, as the CAF competition is concerned, is not one where they're expected to win. Is that what it is? Because I feel like maybe there's more pressure to win the CAF because, hey, man, like we've said, it's the only one left on the table. So how is it that the players are able to, bring up their performances for the CAF competition when it's always about pressure? I would figure the pressure would be greater for them to actually complete the job as far as the Confederations Cup is concerned.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, I was lucky to be part of the squad that played the Champions League final 2013, and as well as a playing member of the squad when we played the Confederations Cup final in 2015. One of the similarities to that is that when you get to Orlando Pirates, when you are signed by that club, first and foremost, you are being told about the class of 95 that won the CAF. And they'll tell you that this is one of the parting gifts for the chairman. He won't retire without getting that tournament, whether it's a Confed or the Champions League. That's one of the... And at the same time, you look at the pre-teams I've just mentioned now with our class when we went to the 2013 final and the 2015 final. After that, Orlando Pirates was supposed to be on an incline, but what happened was we dropped, got knocked out in the group stages, got knocked out in the quarterfinals and so forth. And for a club of Pirates caliber, I remember saying it beginning of the season, comes on the show when we made comparison between Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns, and I said to you guys, and I'll still repeat that we look at Sundowns, we envy, right? But the problem is with that envy, we're not taking any notes to say, what is my neighbor doing right? What is my neighbor doing that's helping to stay consistent within the domestic domination and on the Champions League scale? If we can identify those as Orlando Pirates and say, this is what's happening, and we think in order for us to get it better, we need to follow the footsteps of what Mamelodi Sundowns are doing.
But
On
everybody, Brighton,
perspective,
I know everyone's going to tell you it's the money. People are going to tell you no one has the money that Sundowns
No.
have. That's always going to be the excuse, and that's that's what people will say. It's like, how do you compete? And like, we don't have the budget.
I disagree. I fully disagree. To a certain point. Coach Kevin just said something very profound here. With Mamelodi Sundowns, now we're not talking tactics. We're talking about the football philosophy and the managerial style of things, right?
The culture,
the culture and the tradition of the team. And I've said it so many times that with Orlando Pirates, it got to a point where players have lost the identity of the team and the culture. Whereas with Mamelodi Sundowns, the players that are there and the players that are being brought in are the players that who fit in, who understand the culture of the team and the way of doing things, respecting your football. You understand? I mean, earlier on today, I bumped into Sakele Lipase. He was like, "Yeah, I'm tired." On the road, he's saying, "I'm tired," but he's still on the road. He just came back from a long, crazy trip. And I'm saying to him, I think in order for you to stay injury-free, you need to take good care of yourself, of your body, So I don't know if he understood that part, because he's a decent player. I'd love to see him and Tshego Mabasa doing great things at Pirates. But I feel like the players don't have the understanding on the dynamics. We used to go to Egypt on Tuesday, having to play a game on Sunday. And we knew that coming back, I have a game midweek. So it means as soon as I land, straight home, elevate, recover, and still keep the same momentum. And my mindset is still saying, I have a job to do. And obviously, it does strike Gallants where you don't play well domestically, but on a continental scale, you are doing well. That thing is just up in the mind. It's the same as the question where you say, if you want to play home leg or second leg. We used to do that. We used to think, if we play away, it's good. And then the second leg, you come back here. And then to that point that psychologically it affected us, because all the cup finals, now that's when it changed. Because all the games that we played from the qualifying rounds, we were playing
home and
away first and then home. Yeah. And then now cup final, both Alali and Du Sahel, we played home first. Psychologically, we're messed up, you understand? So all those things, I like how coach is saying. And at the same time, to put it into context, all these away goal things are done. Let's worry about winning the game. Hence, I'm saying, as a footballing nation, when are we going to start taking our football serious to a point to say, we are taking charge, we are dominant, the same way as Sundowns is saying, we are dominant, we're going out there to be a force to be reckoned. As soon as we have that, and then it's easy to transfer that energy back to the domestic league. That's the same mentality that we should have. It shouldn't be a cut and break. Okay, we're playing CAF now, we need to bring our A game. Okay, no, we're coming back to the league. We're going to pull, So it's one of those, I believe that it's just a mentality thing. We need to change our mindset. That's it.
On the point of culture, and this is open to everybody, Coach Kevin, I also want to hear from you. When a culture leaves a team, who did it leave with? Is it a coach? Is it usually a bunch of players that were there for the for the heyday of the club? When we talk about these clubs where that culture of excellence is missing, where did it go and who did it leave with, and how is it then brought back?
My own opinion, Hamza, is that it comes with a lot of things. For example, I say this in all respect, Sundowns. The Sundowns culture that I know that worked there started with a man by the name of Kappa. And it's never changed. And when you look further back at Sundowns, when you look at the time of Iwi Kambule, Roger Futumba, Madao, the same culture. Sundowns have never changed since then. They've always played the same football. You look at Screamer Shabalala, when he had Sundowns, when Kappa had Sundowns, when Neil Tovey and Gamondi had Sundowns, when Gordon Ingerson and Kevin Johnson had Sundowns, when Pitso Mosimane and Rulani and Manoba had Sundowns. It's all the same culture. What happens is, for me, is what changes is that your scouting changes over time. You bring in the wrong players, or you chase wrong players to come and replace your older players. You know what I'm saying? For example, Brighton. Brighton is a fantastic goalkeeper. He's got a mouth on him that no one else has got. He's got organization that no one else has got. But you change him for someone that's dead quiet, that doesn't talk, that just saves balls. That's all he does. So your culture will change because of that. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
You change the manager who doesn't understand what a culture is, and to come and say, "Oh, philosophy. What philosophy? What philosophy? Football has got no. I don't think football has got philosophy. You either play football or you play skit and donner, like we say, skop and donner. You know what I'm saying? Skop and donner. You either do it that way or you do it the other way. Put the ball on the floor and attack each other. It's the tactics and the quality of a player you bring into the spine of your team as like you want to play. Do you want to play the ball on the floor? Yes. Then don't employ someone in the centre back who cannot start the ball, or someone in the midfield who cannot break down the play, or someone as a striker, or someone as a winger who cannot take on players. Those are things that you got to look at. And Brighton says he was part of a lot of things in Pirates. Yes, he was part of all those Confederation Cups and things like that. I was also part of finals and how we play the finals. It's how you apply yourself and what players you bring in. And yes, you can see there's a lot of players, Manchester United as they are now, they are in a slump for the last 10 years. Why? Because they're bringing in the wrong players. Al Ali themselves, before Pitso Mosimane, for 5-6 years, they were in the wrong place. They were bringing in the wrong players. What do they have now? They brought in someone who knows how to, before Pitso Mosimane, they brought in someone who knew how to get the team to a level, and they brought in the players and they said, yes, this crop of players, 15 of them within the team are the right players. We just need to add, but the 15 is the number one players. And that is what you see happening at Manchester City. Pep Guardiola has got 16 players that plays every week in and week out. He's got 16 players. And when he's leading the Champions League, like he done the other day with 5-0 going away, playing somewhere else, he brings in the 19-year-old that he knows in the next 6 months he's going to be the next Phil Foden, the right back. He's 17 years old or 19 years old. You understand what I'm saying? He will take, and this is what it is. It's not an evolution of style or an evolution of football. It goes down to who's managing the team, who's scouting for the team, who's the medical guys who's keeping these guys fit, because those guys normally stay for 30, 40 years in the team. And then, of course, basically, who's the head coach? What type of head coach? Is he a domineering guy? Is he a people's person? Is he a technical guy? Is he a tactical guy? All those little things count as to how your team maintains its style of play over many years.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Okay, so culture is very important. No, it does. But at the same time, I think what I'm hearing is that sometimes, keeping it simple is actually the way to go. Football hasn't changed very much. Like you're saying, it's all a game about putting your best team on the pitch, and then with time, using that culture to blood more people so that you have more options moving forward in the cycle. It reminds me of something they call a perpetual grow. Google what that is. But yeah, it reminds me of a perpetual grow. We're going to keep it moving. So much wisdom on the show tonight. I really do hope you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're tuned into the live stream currently on YouTube, you are appreciated. Moving back home now for some DSTV Premiership action. John T, 2 top 8 sides took to the field this weekend in Royal AM and Stellies, playing out to a 2-all draw. Stellies doing well to come back and snatch a point at the death of that one, but at the same time, Royal AM, both sides showing that actually, you know what, we're not always going to win, but we're going to be able to get good results here and there. And for both sides, it worked out because one is the away team and the other was out of it until the dying throes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, two teams that have definitely exceeded expectations this season. Royal AM, I suppose, have flashed the cash sometimes in a slightly boisterous way on the pitch, throwing it around. But, Royal AM obviously are the new money of South African football and have done well. They're looking at the moment favourites probably to finish second if Chiefs keep falling apart and Pirates get distracted too much by Africa. I think that probably Royal AM have a good chance. I mean, they've got a straight shot at it. They've got a good squad. You have to say they've brought in players. They got the bulk of the Bloemfontein Celtic squad. That was a good squad in the first place. So I think they've done well to get where they are at the moment. And Stellenbosch also have done pretty well. Steve Bark has done a good job there, I think, and they've really come to the party this season. And also they're perhaps the two surprise packages. I think Royal AM will be a bit disappointed in themselves for the sloppy way they conceded the late goal. They could have really wrapped up the 3 points, and they were in a good position to do so. And it was really a bit of a blunder that allowed Stellenbosch back in the game. But so if any side's the more disappointed from that result, it's probably Royal AM. But I think, both of them can be very happy with their seasons up to now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they added Matupu and Matlaba at Royal AM. So I mean, it's a club with making the kind of decisions and trends to show that they're actually building for the future. I mean, if they do finish second place, other than having to figure out how she's going to get a Bentley to all those African countries, you hope that they have an owner who's going to be able to back them and then be able to, make sure that they find another gear. Guys, listen, the road is terrible out there. I don't think you do it. I wouldn't advise I would advise against it, Mamkiza. I'm just saying, keep the cars here, go with the players, have fun. But it looks like they're setting up for that. So
surely if she doesn't already, Kamza, surely by then she'll have a Mamkiza branded private jet of some description that she'll fly around.
Maybe. I hope she doesn't do that. I hope she takes that money and spends it on players rather, because that's the trick, right? Is that I like I say, I always say this, whoever is counseling her and has kept her just, without pulling the trigger and leaving things as they is, that's been the genius for me as far as Royal AM is concerned, is that they've just kind of let the stability continue, because there's always that temptation with new owners to come in and just, rip the carpet out and start from scratch. So I mean, on that point, when you look at Stellies and Royal AM and the seasons they're having, especially on the side of Royal AM, Victor Letswalo now also called into Bafana Bafana due to injury to Percy Tau. Like I say, it's all trending in the right direction, isn't it?
True. I think credit should go to the coach and his technical staff. I think they maintain a good balance on their team. By now, those players are well drilled because they come a long way with it. So with that being said, it's easy for the coach to implement and to tell you what's short, where we need more firepower, where we need our balance. And I think that's the most important thing as a coach, where you have to understand that you just need maybe 1 or 2 addition into a particular position so that you can keep the competition level higher up. And I think those players also very well motivated. I think they're well compensated also by their boss. So each and every game that they are playing, they know each and every game that they play, it's one of those games that will always change your life, because you might not know what carrot is being thrown in the dressing room. Probably maybe you win this game because you're playing a team that is leading the log. There's a 15,000 for you. You're playing a team that is also a bigger team in the country. whether it would be Pirates or Chiefs, there's 20,000 we giving to you cash. So I think with those coaches being there again, it plays a very, very important role because most of that squad, I mean, 90% of that squad comes with them from Bloemfontein Celtics. So the philosophy and the way of the style of play, it has kept to be the same thing. So what we're seeing right now, we're seeing a very matured Bloemfontein Celtics that has been in the league for quite a long time. So for me, it's just the balance of those energies. And I'm very, very impressed with how Stellies has been with Coach Barker there. I think he has made like proper and good signings. That's why I'm not surprised the way that they're performing. Their average age there, I think it's around 24, 25, the players that they've got. Good players that are being fitted into position that are really needed at that particular point, because you see the players that are playing up front. I'm happy to see with the experience that they've added on the team. You got your Macheke there, which is a player that has been on the league for quite some time, which is very experienced. You have Dupree, who is very fast, very good, a dribbler and a finisher of note, who always find himself 80-90% in the final third. You also have at the center back, which is you have Atetin Kosi, Mataba, which I think for me in that center back position to take over, to actually be mentored by Robin Johannes. I think he gives them that plus to learn from the older players, the senior players, which are Robin Johannes. This guy is only 20 years old. Yes, he might have been late on the league when you're looking at the development cycle, because at that time he should be at this level. He should be playing here because he has passed the development stage. So for me, I'm happy just to see that handover of a baton from the senior players and now start gearing and getting new fresh players to join in with the bigger guys. And also on our left, we still have your Fanerde, who's doing exceptionally well, who becomes the pillar at the back in them helping trying to control the play and show giving the good picture in terms of the discipline and the pillar in terms of how they want to move forward, how they want to defend, how they want to attack, and how they want to break down teams. So for me, I think it's a squad that is doing their business quietly and nicely, and it's a true reflection when it comes to the league on how they.
Yeah, no, for sure. Stellies definitely are kind of doing well. And a good example, when you see the likes of, I think, Kosi is with the Bafana Bafana setup now, it goes to show just well how Stellies are doing in kind of looking to their future, and obviously at the same time looking after the interests of the national team by getting young stars into that setup. We're going to move on to the next game. That's all. Marumo Gallants going a goal down, Brighton to Cape Town City. You knew this question was coming to you. I don't know why you're surprised. Your thoughts on that result between Gallants and Cape Town City. I mean, Cape Town City managing to find these wins, even though they've lost the likes of Lakay, they've lost the likes of Ralani, they're still chugging on.
Yeah, look, coming to Marumo, they've been on a good run, a streak of good wins and a draw here and there. And I felt like credit must go to Coach Dance. He managed to make sure that he assembles the right combinations within the squad. There's good team cohesion. However, even though I feel like within the centre backs is always, chopping and changing, and that's a very critical one. I mean, I'm glad that he managed to give King Ndlovu the platform to shine, because King, he came on as a cup goalkeeper, and then he played the Sundowns game last year, the last game before going on recess, and then he did well. He never looked back, and I was happy that when he came back, he gave him the full run. And having said that, I believe that now that's when now complacency crept in, because when you look at that game, they were under siege, chances after chances, and very, very tactical errors that should have been very costly, especially within the centre-back pairing, where I believe that skipper Nonyani, with his experience, I need him to be, I always had a fight with him that I need him to be more vocal, with certain things, especially when the team is under siege. That's when now you need to show that lion character, where he comes up and pulls the team together and say, okay, We are under siege. We cannot play our normal game. We cannot do much. We're not creating any chances. Therefore, with this point that we came in here with in Cape Town, it's not a bad result to go back with it. So I believe that sometimes, especially with South African football players, and it's also now that's what Sundowns have mastered when they go into the Champions League. With South African football, we tend to be very naive in a sense that there are games that you know that you can't win them, but you still want to go with the mentality to say, we're going to win it, to a sense that it's not happening for you, and you end up opening up and losing the point that could have been so valuable. So we need to eradicate the fact that of being naive and just focus on saying, play the moment, play the game, and we can see it's not happening. If it's not happening, then we need to make a couple of changes. We take Otladisa out, we take a Philip Ndlondlo out, and then we stabilize the team. We put your Edgar Manaka with Miguel team just to close shops, control it, or include again another centre back to close shops, because you could see that Cape Town City, we all know that they like finding those small pockets of spaces. They play between the lines, and once they start breaking you through the middle, it's going to be a problem, because now it means your distances are too scattered, you're too wide open. And once the centre back pairing separate, chances are that a goal scoring opportunity will occur. So those are the things that I feel like Coach Dan, sometimes that's what kind of lacks in his philosophy, whereby his focus is mainly about, let's play pretty football.
Right.
If it's not working, let's keep on trying. Yes, you can try, you can keep on doing that, but at the same time, we shouldn't be naive, because it's all about a game of results. These are the moments. I love how Kevin, when we were saying, it's okay, we can play the whole week, we can train well and do good football, but the main important thing, my job lies on the weekend. If I don't get the result, the bosses are going to say, I didn't see how you train. The team is playing well at training. I didn't see how you train. The main important thing is grinding the results. So I think those are the slight changes that he can do. But again, on the other side of Cape Town City, credit must go to Coach Eric, because Coach Eric, what he has done is he hasn't changed. He still believes in playing players who are hungry and who are consistent on a timely basis. Because you look at Kanyisa Mayo, he's been doing well, he's been fantastic. And then you look at Duduzi, who's been in the middle of the park, who's been a very good supplier. So I think they don't miss greatly that much, because he's been able to work around players, and just to, your Martins, they're coming in, they still give you the same 100% effort. So I think the guys are looking good. Cape Town City, all they need to do now is just to maintain the consistency, because they have this game over the weekend, and then come midweek, they just play a lateral draw. Then you ask yourself, where are we? So that's what I'm saying. South African football, it's just a mental game. That's it. If we can strengthen and then just focus on strengthening our mindset, then everything, we can go a long way.
I mean, that do you guys have like a psychologist at Marumo? Do they have? I mean, that's a serious question.
What do you mean?
Do they have psychologists at the clubs? Well, I mean, maybe you know when you were there.
Kamza, the last time I played for, the last team I played for was TTM when we won the Nedbank Cup. I don't even have a cap for Marumo Gallants, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I would assume with Coach Dance, he's a good motivator. When things are going well, he's a good motivator. And with the senior guys that they have now within the team, I think they are right fit for these young boys, and the young boys as well that are playing consistently. I think the level of maturity is better. I mean, you look at a player like Philip Ndlondlo, for me, wow, what a guy. He's a great player, and he has good personality. He's level-headed, and as a young boy, I think he got exposed to the professional level at a young age. I think Coach Kevin, you might have known him from AmaZulu as well, So that boy, he's very much matured for his age. And I think those are the guys who, when we won the Nedbank Cup, who were there throughout the struggles, and they keep motivating the guys. And obviously with the inclusion of Tsepo Kumete and there's so many players that who came in and your Tide Malongwane as well, who've been at the top. I think they're the ones who play a huge role, because this is a new team, mind you. They don't know anything with regards to managerial style and everything. So they rely more on players' input, and obviously with other certain things. But I believe that Coach Dance, he has came in and
I lost Brighton there a little bit, signal, but we get his point. But I mean, so do you know any players, Coach? Do you know any players, John T? Do you know any players who take it upon themselves to get that psychological advantage, maybe? Because if it's not as pervasive at club level, where it's being given to you, I mean, how many players do you guys know that provide that self-care to themselves and make sure that they sit in front of a psychologist to keep that, that competitive edge? Do you see enough of it, or am I just kind of talking about something you've never come across?
Uh, Gamza, you're talking something that's foreign to South Africans.
Oh my word!
And
It's
again, I'm going to go
2022,
back.
Coach. It's 2022.
2022. I'm going to go into the diversity of our country.
Yeah.
And that is the important thing.
Right.
We brought in a psychologist at Platinum Stars, but he was a white guy.
First misstep.
And we had a problem.
Mm.
Some of the guys understood, some of the guys didn't understand.
Right.
And then I said, no. When I went to Platinum Stars, I said, I wanted a black psychologist.
Mm.
But I wanted someone who was not going to come with a social, what do they call them? Social worker background.
Okay. Right.
We have this thing that our black ladies become social workers, and they will be able to social. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want that. I wanted someone that was, and in real honesty, I think it was the king's sister who was a psychologist.
Okay.
And she came.
Mm.
So there was a bit of authority and some way of talking to the players.
Right.
And we kind of got it going into a right way there, and we were successful. Not successful, but we got something out of it.
No, for sure. For sure. It's not going to say, it's not a cure-all.
No,
it's not going to fix all your problems.
It's not a cure-all. But because what happened was, when we were the first one, I still had Sailor. You remember Sailor Shabalala?
Mm-hmm.
I had him in the team. And he was very vocal in the team. And we had a word exactly like Brighton is trying to say. The senior players have to go and say, hey, we're playing in Cape Town. It's 0-0. It's 65 minutes. What do? We're going home with a point. And they had a word for this. Sailor would scream something like, Amandla, something like that. And he screamed, he said, in the one game, he said, Amandla. And the player said, what are you doing now? They forgot what Amandla
the code
meant.
word.
The code word was supposed to say Amandla. Now
why is this guy running around the field screaming Amandla?
And that's what Sailor said. Sailor said, Coach, you know what? I came up these punks forgot what Amandla means. You're laughing, John. Joke about it because we lost the game. And we said, we paid this guy so much money last week to get us motivated. And when Sailor said, Amandla, you have to know the time is now.
Right, exactly.
Finished.
But they forgot the safe word. They forgot the activation.
The activation. But it's years of practicing, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's also part of the culture of the team. You cannot do it 1 year and the next year the manager says, no, we haven't got money to bring this person in. You know? And this is why I want to go back to Stellies, and I want to go back to Royal AM. The one thing I can tell you why they are also successful is because Gamza, they have good facilities. If you see the Royal AM facility and you see the Stellies facility, it's not
Mickey Mouse.
It's not Mickey Mouse. Stellies facility, the fields are there, everything is closed. When you're done, you go to the gym. It's 5-meter walking distance from each other. You go to the ice bath, everything is around. So the players don't have to get in their cars and go to the gym to go to the ice bath. Right. And unfortunately or fortunately, I think about 50% of our teams in the PSL, the players are only on a pitch, nothing else. There's a pitch and a shower.
So you're always making the player have to decide whether they must now drive out to go do something, go here to do something, as opposed to making it right under their nose so that they have an obligation just to go and take in the services that are there.
Right. We're having a meeting. There's 20 seats available. That thing there, there's a psychologist. He's there. He's watching. You know, everything can be next to each other, and that's what Stellies have, and that's what Royal AM have. So they have those things that are good. Like I say, 50% of the others, you come into training, I have the experience. You come in with your own kit. You come with a kit. Today we train in blue. You come with your own kit. You train. You take your own kit home. You wash it at home. There's not even a shower on the field. 50% of our teams are in that condition. Honestly speaking. That's the truth.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's a sad truth, unfortunately. But as long as it's the real truth, then it's fine. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the reality must be, it's not always a good news story. And coach, if we have to bring it into the light that, some of these clubs need to step their game up and give their players as their employees the best chance possible at doing their job. We can only hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears. We're going to move on because we don't have much time. And this is now to focus on Golden Arrows being able to travel up to the Highveld and get themselves all 3 points at the expense of Kaizer Chiefs. Now, Jonty, I know you were watching this one closely because in the weeks leading up to this past weekend, you would always be hearing Stuart Baxter speaking about just a mathematical thing, that stands between them and Sundowns. Just a matter of games in hand. Seemed to be the only problem. But as you would have found out at the weekend, it's not the only problem. No.
Yeah. I like the way you introed that with "let's focus on golden arrows," because I think lots of Chiefs fans will want you to just focus on golden arrows. But
for sure.
Chiefs, look, I think Baxter was talking the right game in the sense of it's pointless giving up. It's pointless. I don't know. Pirates, yeah. I know that Mandon Sikazi and Fadu Davids were sort of going, oh, it's over. And then Chiefs did beat Pirates in the derby with Baxter saying we're still in the title race. So it did look like a decent effort. Then they got this reprieve, which is a whole nother debate. But just to touch on that briefly.
We're going to circle back to that one.
I'll shout my opinion out now and the guys can chip in. But firstly, the PSL's decision that no game can be cancelled because of COVID-19 is a nonsense. We're in the middle of a global pandemic with people's lives at risk. That was a nonsense. But you take Cape Moya United and you take 3 points off them, and then Chiefs get away with it. That's just total double standards. So the rule is a nonsense, but it's still double standards. That's my position on that. And then you've got a situation where Chiefs get this reprieve. They've got these 4 games in hand. They're playing Arrows at home. You think they're going to put up a performance. They're going to come out on the pitch. They're going to hammer Arrows. Then they're going to be even more vocal about how they're right back in the title race. Oh, they were rubbish. They didn't play well. They didn't have a good game. Arrows were the better side. Matoho's error was an error. Matiza took his goal really well. But I don't know with Chiefs, And then there's all this talk about, we miss our fans. You haven't won a trophy for 7 years. I mean, your fans have certainly
were there. They were there for those non-winning years.
It's not the fans. It's a mentality thing with Chiefs. I don't know. They are great. They're a very well marketed team. They just don't produce on the pitch. Especially in recent times. I mean, there was a period when they very much did, a period when Baxter was in charge and they very much did. Baxter has come back to a very different Chiefs, a Chiefs that isn't used to winning and then is almost certainly not going to win again this season. So I just think that, jokes aside, they're not in the title race. And I don't know if they ever were. To be fair, Sundowns have been walking this title from day one.
Yeah.
Sundowns need to now win the Champions League simply because they they're the one team that really, I mean, they've nailed this domestic thing down, and their next step is to be more dominant in Africa, because it's been 6 years since they won the Champions League.
Yeah.
But Chiefs again, they need, I don't know what they need, but the
I was about to ask you, what do they
I
need?
don't know what they need, but they need, I don't know, maybe Kevin knows as a coach. It's just
anyone want to offer?
About, no, he was talking earlier about getting players in that are going to suit your system and
right,
that kind of thing. Maybe Chiefs just don't do that. Maybe I don't know. I mean, there's certainly elements of Chiefs recruitment that needs some work if you look at the players they brought in over the years. But yeah, I'll leave the rest of it to the other guys. I've said my piece.
Do you think there's unity in that technical team, John T? Do you think
I
as
don't know, it doesn't look like it with Baxter and Arthur Zwane. It looks like there's a bit of a difference there. I don't know. I'm not privy to what's going on 100%, but it doesn't look 100% like they're on the same page. It looks a bit like Baxter and Dylan Shepherd are on the same page, and maybe Arthur Zwane is on a different page. I don't know, but that's what it looks like from the outside.
Brighton, you're saying yeah. Why are you saying that? Are you picking up the same vibes?
Yeah, because look at it this way: when there was a time when Baxter, before he came in, when Arthur Zwane took over. Remember when Coach Gav went to Chiefs, he came with Dylan Shepherd, right? However, the team had made it clear that Arthur Zwane is the first assistant. Therefore, when Gav left, Arthur took charge, and he did reasonably okay, to a point that he took the team to the semi-final and actually to the final. And for me, with the trend that we've been going with, especially in South African football, we always have that sense where when a assistant coach steps in and he does well, he doesn't get rewarded. And it does leave a bitter taste, especially if it's a local coach. And then now you start having these corridor conversations where we're like, maybe had we left him, we could have won it, or this and that. And it does play a psychological effect on the main guy, because he feels like Arthur now suddenly feels like, I've done it. I was the coach. I took charge. And even now during Coach Baxter's absentia, during COVID and so forth, he keeps on popping up and he feels like he's doing well. Maybe now he has the confidence to say, I need to take charge. And since, well, we don't know with regards to the hierarchy, who's giving Arthur this information to say he's the man, and who's giving Stuart and Thingy and Dylan to say you guys are in charge. So that break of communication can lead to so much mayhem, whereby now within the technical team, there's no trust. And part of it, I'd feel like, okay, I know Dylan is that side, and with Lee, it's quite obvious it goes where Daddy goes, So now he somehow feels like, So and then with Arthur, will somehow feel like, okay, I am Kaizer Chiefs. I'm the culture of this team, having played for this team and being the coach and so forth. So within those structures, we can't run away from those things. These are the things that happen on a daily basis in South African football, where there's a challenge of a guy who's the culture of the team. I missed this team, and then there's now this one who's saying, but I've done this for this team, so who do we believe in? So within that, all these effects, they do come to play within the team, because remember, Soso can attest to that. When you are a player, there'll be advices that are coming from different angles, right? Coach Kevin has his own players, the assistant coach has his own players, and now there will be a break in between, where it says, okay, who do we listen to? That split that happens now, it says, who do we listen to? And within that, it's always visible on the field of play, because they are blowing hot and cold, they're disjointed. I don't know, when you look at Kaizer Chiefs, you're like, whoa, what's happening? All those kind of things. And that on its own, I think it's one of the things that needs to be fixed on top, because that's where probably the problem is. They need to define structures and roles to say who's who. Lefe, what's your role? Kaizer Junior, what's your role, and so forth, and then probably do rub off better, like John T has said, that it's a good marketable team and so forth. They've been doing well on that aspect, and when they were doing that, they were presenting a united front. That's why they started winning things. But now, because there's all these, splits and whatnot, it is visible because it is rubbing off on the field. That's my observation, actually.
No, for sure. To the two coaches, Soso and Coach Kevin, I mean, looking at it, do you sense that there is maybe a sense of, a younger, newer generation of thinking in Arthur, who maybe, is clashing a little bit with the methods of Stuart Baxter? What have you guys seen a tactical evolution from the coach ever since he's come back, or is he pretty much stuck in his ways? Well, because to Brighton's point, people don't know what's happening at Kaizer Chiefs. Coach Kevin, you've known Coach Baxter a long time. Is this symptomatic of what he does, or is this more in line with just the game moves so fast that as a coach you have to keep yourself on top of everything as far as trends and ways to approach games?
Yeah, look, Gamza, firstly, you have to correct John T. It's one decision was made by the PSL, the other decision was made by the SAFA. So it's two different bodies, John T. As far as the COVID thing is
concerned. I know that. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm also saying that why is the PSL leaving that decision to SAFA? I mean, they now appeal the decision. I mean, it's ludicrous.
Yeah. No, I just want to tell you that. That's all.
Yeah.
I know you knew that.
I do that.
It's good for reading, because now you say, well, NSL, the PSL said Cape Moyo deduct 3 points. SAFA said no, they are within their rights to replay the games. So
I accepted, Cape Moyo, the PSL took the 3 points and then SAFA upheld. My understanding is SAFA upheld.
Jesus. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's even more
It went to
confusing.
arbitration. I don't know if it was SAFA arbitration, but it went to arbitration and it was upheld. And this one has gone to arbitration and been reversed or whatever.
Yeah, but maybe CAS will get involved. Like we said earlier, maybe CAS will get involved.
Why is it every season every season. I need to wait and say, okay, I know Black Leopards, they won't get relegated. They probably have a protest which we didn't hear about it or something. It's insane every season. Hence, I'm saying my argument now is that as South Africans, we say we are a footballing nation. However, we're still far behind with regards to administration, with regards to mentality, with regards to development, and so many things. Yet we're saying we are a footballing nation. And at the same time, we're like, okay, we need to be up there with so and so. But the way of thinking and the way we do things, it's totally different. For example, I made that example a couple of months when we were playing qualifiers. We kept on saying, okay, Hugo Bruce, his mandate is not to qualify. Then what is it? What are we doing? And then now we start winning. We say, okay, now we see that there's a chance. We're saying, no, we need to qualify. We need to pick a struggle, because we're saying road to 2022. We thought this road 2022 was not going to arrive. It's 2022 Qatar. Where are we? We've been saying 5 years, Stuart Baxter is building road to 2022. And here we are again. We're saying Hugo Bruce now, he needs to, what is he building for? 2030 or whatever.
So, 2020. I don't know.
Yeah,
one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
The next AFCON.
I've got an. I think Brighton spoke very, very, very well about what is going on at Chiefs. I think it's a slump that they can't afford to go through for so long. Like we said, they say they're missing their fans. It's 7 years. We only in 2 years pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So what happened to the 5 years? We were in hospital for 5 years. We were in hospital. It's like I said, and I look back and I look at where I was. Ali, they were in a slump for 3 years, 4 years. They only managed to go into the quarterfinals of AFCON of the Champions League. They managed to lose once or twice to Wydad or Raja in the finals, and they never made. And then they had to come out, and that's the same caliber of team, Pirates and Chiefs. and Sundowns have to be consistently. So the slump that Chiefs is in now is too long. It's too long. And Brighton said it well. There's a lot that's going on within the management, within the coaching staff. And at the same time, don't give someone who's played for you, who's won your trophies, promote him to be a coach. You give him the reign as head coach, but you don't outline that you are not our man. Because that is the wrong thing to do with Arthur Zwane, number one.
Yeah.
It is totally wrong to do that to him.
To string him along, yeah.
To string him along and maybe make him feel that he can take the reign of the team. As it is now, Arthur will never be the head coach of Kaizer Chiefs. But tell him that and make sure he understands that, so that whoever comes in and like Brighton says, Gavin comes in with Dylan, and Dylan is obviously coming with Gavin, so he's second assistant. So now here comes Stuart Baxter, and he's still second assistant. But the guy who took them to the Champions League final was Arthur Zwane, and Dylan as the second. So it sends wrong messages. And this is where, Gamza, this is where we need to have people watching from the top, saying, hey, what you are doing is wrong. No matter what explanation you come with, no matter what explanation you telling me that you're putting him there, no. Bring him in here, put him around the table, and we tell him straight, you are going to be the second assistant forever. And when we promote you,
that's it.
When we promote you to the first team, we will promote you to the first team forever. And when you fail, you will be fired. And I know these people do this. They will say, no, just take the team now. You know, if it doesn't go well, you know, you still got a job for life. No.
Like there's no stakes there. There's no skin in the
there's
game.
no stakes. But as a coach as well, you have to have ethics. Yourself. You can't take the loaf and eat it half. You can't say, if they give you the job, you say, listen, give me the job and I'm gonna run with it. If you plan on bringing someone in, then count me out. Get someone else to run the job.
So you'd never do a three wise men situation, coach?
Three wise men? If I'm an owner?
Would you no, as in like coaches, co-coaching. Would you ever co-coach with the one or two other coaches? No.
Not me personally, no, I never. I'm either the assistant coach or I'm the head coach. Finish.
Really? You can't do okay. Not the no other options for you.
I can't do the other option. I don't think it's fair. I think it's something that someone is trying. Someone is trying that, but I will never do it. I can never do that.
Interesting.
No,
interesting.
Not me.
Okay. As we head down,
I love the honesty.
Stretch,
I love the honesty. I love the honesty. I mean, it fails so many people comes out to honestly open up to such and say this is how they feel about certain positions, because now these are the things we these are the corridor conversations I'm talking about. You know that you don't want to be co-coaching with someone. However, you take the job, and then now there's clashes of heads. And then you want to pretend as if you didn't know this was going to happen. You get my point. Rather be open and honest. I love how he knows. He's always been my father. He knows. I love his personality. I love everything about him, you know. But one thing I love, it's similarities to Antonio Conte, who he looks at the profiling of the team and he sees if the project fits in within his criteria, he takes the job. And if he feels like, no, it's not working, it doesn't care what team is it. It can be Real Madrid or whatever. He tells you straight, no, it's not part of my project. And that's it. That's honesty. That's it.
Okay. Well, interesting. So picking your brain now. Fidel uploaded a clip that looked like Hugo Broos was like, come on, guys. Come on, we're not gonna win against France. Just relax. How do you see these two games now coming up for Bafana Bafana in terms of, you know, because obviously we're without Percy Tau, Hugo Bruce kind of alluding to the fact that maybe the player is a bit overloaded, not being managed as best as he can. I'm sure that'll come as a bit of a shock to the people at Al Ahly. They won't like to hear that. But yeah, what do you think our objectives, let me say, with these two next games? Is just recruiting players to see who can do what? Or do you think that those players should get something out of those games? I think the France one, yes, there's no Benzema, but that squad is still stacked.
It's an African team now.
Yeah, so I think for me the objective is the continuity that has to be at play. We've seen the glimpse in terms of what the coach could have, what the coach was able to do. Formed up a team, they performed. They got us to a certain position. Unfortunately, we didn't qualify. So what are we looking for now? I think it's more or less like your continuation on the team that tried to embed the DNA in terms of what you want to do, because you look at the squad age, it's an average of 25 years old. So I think we still have some way to go. Unfortunately, we're at the highest level. So this is where your true test is. We cannot have excuses in terms of you're trying to develop. We've got a lot of platforms to develop players, which is the junior level. At this point, it's everything results driven, because the opposition that you're going to be playing, they're not going to bring a second stream team to say that we're trying to test out things. They're preparing for a tournament. And when I listened to one of the interviews that he had was where he said, Bafana Bafana has always played like, not to be disrespectful, but weaker teams. I doubt in a national team there's ever a weaker team. National team, the word national team, that's not weak, because those are players that are chosen amongst the best on that league, whether they're playing in France, whether they're playing in Spain, wherever that they are playing. So I think within that being said, it has to be added up to understand that the objective is there for them to have a continuity and start building not building a solid team, but get the players that are ready, that are performing domestically and even overseas. Like the coaches said last week when we spoke, that get all the players that are performing and stop looking at the age, because the age at this point is not going to help us. Why wouldn't it help us? It's because that when you look at the development cycle and you're saying to us, you're trying to integrate younger players. Younger players have plenty of opportunities, man. There's MDC there, there's under 17, there's under 20, there's SAB. So what else are you looking for? So now this is the same thing that we are saying. This is what I'm saying now, that at this level, this is competition time. It's either you smell the coffee or you out. Just to go back a little bit to ask to answer also on the Kaizer Chiefs topic.
Yeah.
I think one of the questions, there are three things that are there, which is number one, it was the scouting that is actually there that is going wrong. Number two, we're looking in terms of, is Arthur ready to take on the team? Is he brave enough in taking over Kaizer Chiefs? So if Arthur is ready to take on the team, as the gentlemen have said, he must raise his hand. Kevin Hunt vacated the place. Then he should have said, if this is not happening now, let me go and ply my trade elsewhere. So this is one of the things that has been going wrong at Chiefs. And again, the Chiefs DNA has been lost. And having the young blood coming in with your Kaizer Junior. Again, we need to look at the technical team manager. Is he still keeping the same DNA that Chiefs has had? Again, the placement of players and how you position those players. Because now, Chiefs do have players. The only difference now is that players are being played out of position. So we're not seeing the best of them. And again, the players that you've selected, are they a fit for this team to be in the better position?
Those are very important questions, and I hope, Stuart, I know you're watching. Yeah, you can just think about those for a sec, and then of course, looking at some of the inclusions. Victor Letswalo, I had mentioned earlier, so that he had been brought back into the squad. Some people would have wondered why he wasn't there. I mean, I can't say that his recent form's been the greatest, but I mean, he's still one of our better goal scorers. But I guess in a sense, we're starting to see what the coach is trying to do here. You have someone not available, someone like Victor who's had exposure to the squad already is going to be able to slot right in.
But then what now? The question comes back to us. What does it say to a player when you've been doing well, you've got 11 goals, and then you're not selected? Now again,
Oh, maybe the coach wants to try something else. Wants to see other people. It's not a competitive game. We're not. No. We're not playing. We're not playing to qualify for anything, guys. It's still an opportunity for the coach to cast his eye. No.
I understand that, but again, I'm saying on a confidence level. I'm talking about a confidence level. If you go
Victor's a professional, my man. I'm sure he understands it's a friendly so you can't tell me he's hurt. It's not like
there's no friendly national team.
It's not like they left him out of a game or squad to go to a competition. It's 2 games. No?
Again, I'm going back to the confidence factor. You're not hearing me. I'm talking about confidence. I'm not saying that he's hurt. All I'm saying is the guy is a leading goal scorer in the league. Yes, the coach is casting his eyes on other players. Now, if Percy wasn't injured, so what's another opportunity that he would have got if Percy performed on this game, that these 2 games that he was going to play? Was he going to be recalled back?
He might have been. We don't know. I mean, that's speculation. He might have been. He's still a good goal scorer.
The top goal scorer on our league. So again, I'm going to what the coach was saying. Play the players that are performing on the league that we all have proof of.
Even for friendlies.
Exactly, yes. This is a national team. It's not a team. This is not like a club level. This is national team. Then again, we're going to go back to what comes. Making excuses again. No, guys, we lost against France or whatever. No. No, man.
Expectations us to go set the world on fire. I really don't think so.
Gamza, I think Calvin is saying the right thing. The last time someone had so much goals was Clive Barker. That's why he won the 96. And that's why everybody's still looking for the 96. He set up a team, because remember, he was the first guy. He set up a team, and anybody who came afterwards, he said, this is my team. This team will play. And then he started bringing in slowly different players. Started bringing Benny in instead of Sean Bartlett, but they were scoring goals. You understand? The spine of the team in Clive Barker was changing slowly, but then we got rid of Clive Barker. Clive Barker didn't get rid of himself. We got rid of Clive Barker. And then what happened was the building of that DNA, where Kelvin is saying now, listen here, this is a national team. We need the best players to play now. Now we have players that are playing locally, scoring 11 goals. You have Percy Tau, who's playing overseas, but he's got 3 goals.
Evidence Mahopa. I'm still worried. Ahead of the same player that we're talking about, Letswalo. For me, and then we still have Elebu Mutiba, whom we said is young. He's a striker who's doing well in France, irrespective of the form and everything. I think it's double standards, as John T would put it, because it raises
exactly
so many questions. And then we have players at Sundowns that on a weekly basis they're consistent performing, and when you look at it, you say, okay, I believe Tembazwane is supposed to be there. I believe Andile Jali is supposed to be there. So when we want to have that team cohesion, the merging with regards to the culture as well, you need to blend in the young with the experience, but at the same time, not forgetting the form. Hence, I made example with the whole thing of saying, when Gavin said to me, it doesn't matter what you do during preparations and trusting the process and so forth. At the end of the day, with all those things having said and done, we need the results over the weekend, because this is the highest level. And I still repeat, guys, and I'm still coming back to the fact that we are a footballing nation. So having being a footballing nation, we need to pride ourselves with just winning. That's what Sundowns has done well. When you come to Sundowns, you know that you need to win. That's it. Period. That's your mentality. You come there, you need to win each and every game that you play. So those are the things that we need to look at to say, okay, when we come in, we need to win. Whatever player that comes in, he needs to carve out a result for the national team. You're not carrying a badge of a club or the Proteas flower. You're carrying the hopes of the nation, which we're talking about millions of people who want to grab that jersey as well. So it's not about building. We've been building
I agree.
Kansa. That one, let's cut it out. Yeah,
I agree. I don't think it is about building. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's a lot of players, and the coach is not always have an opportunity to see them in action. And if you can bring them into camp and cast his eye, for sure. I think for me, judge the man on the quality of his squads when we're actually doing the business end of trying to qualify for things. Right now, I think he's more, well within his rights.
But that sets the tones. It sets the tones. It sets the tone because remember, we this is the same squad that couldn't qualify, and we were saying we're building. So how long are we going to give that process? Is it still the learning process or the trialing and experimenting
until we qualify?
process?
Until we qualify. That's when the
Gamza.
process is going to continue until. I mean,
Gamza, I think John T will reply to you. I think Dylan. I can take. I'll give you the names now. They were in the under-23 team with Benny McCarthy that beat Brazil. They were sponsored by Sassel. They were coached by Sheikhs Mashaba.
Right.
That group was known as the 2022 Vision. John T will tell you. It was known as the 2022 Vision. We are now 2022. Dylan Shepherd is a coach. Benny McCarthy is a coach. There's nobody that can beat that team. And like the guys say, like Brighton says, like Calvin says, national team is about winning. And when I look at the composition of other national teams, then our national team is set up like an NFD team. We might have a physiotherapist. We might have a doctor. We might have someone who will go out and check out things. When you look at other national teams, their backroom staff is a consistency of 40 people.
Yeah.
We give Hugo Bruce everything. Yeah, come with your assistant, and then the rest we'll see if we can find it. And you know what? He comes here and he says, I only got 3 people to answer to. I can do what I want to here.
Ooh.
But go to Brazil. There's 40 people behind you. You've got to look after. Plus, you've got to look after the 25 that you are calling. And you've got to win the game. The same with England.
That's it.
The same with France. They got 40 people. There's 40 people now getting ready to play against South Africa. That's why you're not going to play against the second stream French team.
Yeah.
You're going to play against the proper team.
Right.
But we'll go there with 5 people. It's all right. And the messieurs.
The messieurs.
With one.
Oh my goodness.
Having been in
Jonty, I'm gonna let you have the last word. Go for it on this whole topic and what the guys have said. Please.
Well, I was in Dobsonville yesterday when Hugo Bruce had a press conference and he talked about Percy Tau, and Percy Tau I think is a situation to watch because he came off with a bruised knee according to Ahli in the Champions League game against El Merreikh after scoring. And Bruce then started saying this guy's out for 6 months or this guy's out for weeks and could miss the June AFCON qualifier. But I haven't seen any scientific evidence that he's out for that long. And Al Ahly certainly haven't announced it. And then you have a report from Egypt. I saw that one of the Al Ahly legends who do like to talk, I'm sure Kevin knows that, but saying that Percy Tau doesn't want to play for Bruce. So I can't remember which one it was. He says Percy Tau doesn't want to play for Bruce. So I don't know. That's one to watch. What exactly is happening there?
Why would you think that'd be the case, John T, if you had to proffer a guess as to why Percy Tau doesn't want to play for Hugo Bruce?
No, I think this is a legend spouting nonsense. But clubs, when international friendlies especially are on, players tend to pull out of squads and then reappear in the first game back for their club. That's all I'm saying. Right. It happens.
No, John is right.
It's not just South Africa. I mean, Naby Keita's pulled out of the Guinea squad. I think he's out for a while, actually, to be fair. But like, for example, Trent Alexander-Arnold's out of the Liverpool squad. Reece James is out. These guys, Reece James is out of the England squad. Guys want to protect their players because they're paying their salaries, and it's from their perspective. Oh, this is a couple of friendlies. It's not an actual qualifier. You chill here in Cairo.
You see, guys, even the clubs think that.
Yeah.
No, but John T is correct, and a lot of the other nations are aware of this. And
Mm.
they play the same game.
Mm.
The national team coaches are clever. They
Mm.
sort of play the same game. It's like Percy Tau now. Percy Tau has to report for duty.
Mm. Yeah, they could
So
make
that
him, but they didn't.
they have to. He has to report for duty so that SAFA's doctors can have a look and see how far. So a lot of those guys, like England guys and things like that, the national coaches, they'll make those guys report for duty for that one day,
Right.
and then send them back.
Yeah.
But I do understand. I do understand why, for a friendly, Hugo Broos might not do that, and he might, like Cams has been saying, want to look at some other players. So it gives him a chance to. Someone like Lyle Foster, who's been doing okay in Belgium, can get a game, or
Yes.
you can just look at some other players. I get it. We want to win every game, but it is a couple of friendlies. In the past, we've won friendlies and messed up the qualifiers, which is the wrong way around.
Thank you, John T. I'm so happy you remember those. I'm so happy you remember those.
But I also,
we've won.
Just think that, but I do think there's some of what Hugo Broos says needs to be taken with a bit of a pinch, in the sense of this whole, what Kevin was saying. I think this whole weaker opposition nonsense. For starters, under Gordon Iggesund, we played Brazil, we played Spain, we beat them, but we didn't really go anywhere in the World Cup qualifier. So, I don't know if that, you can take a reverse view of that as well and say, well, it doesn't necessarily help,
Doesn't matter.
Narrowly to Brazil, and the Brazilian fans were cheering us in Sao Paulo, and we beat Spain at FMB Stadium.
But look at our football now.
But when we didn't play in the World Cup in Brazil, so it's irrelevant. But in a sense, friendlies are fundamentally irrelevant. And what really matters is what we do in qualification. We didn't make it to this World Cup. But the one thing I can say in support of Bruce is he's towed the same line. He did say, I want us to get to the World Cup. It doesn't matter we have to get to the Ivory Coast in 2023. So that's what we have to do with the qualifiers.
But at the same time, Johns, the main important thing that I believe that we should add now is that we need to have that mentality. Start having the mentality to say we need to win. Because that's the problem with South African football. We get into games, we start choosing games, or this I can use it as a friendly, this I can play these certain players, this I can, trying to tweak around the squad. Okay, Kamza is supposed to play these games and not these kind of games. Percy is supposed to come down for these games, not these kind of games. Right now, our South African football is in shambles. We haven't done anything in so many years as a national team. We started celebrating losing to Egypt in the quarterfinals of that AFCON in Egypt, which for me, I feel like that needs to change. We need to win games. Whether we're Lesotho, whether we're playing whoever, we need to start building up that momentum. That's what Roberto Mancini did with Italy. When he went back to Italy were in shambles. They didn't qualify for the Euros. They struggled for this and that. And then he started instilling the winning mentality. And that thing, it built on throughout. Okay, we're going 5 games unbeaten, 10 games unbeaten, up until they had that record. You understand? Up until they went on now, because of the winning mentality that they had, they went to the Euros with that mentality. That same mentality, that's the one that saw them triumph the tournament. So those are the things that we need to go back and say, what are we here for? We need to build a winning mentality. We need to build these young boys. Whoever that comes in needs to understand that I'm playing to win and I'm carrying the hope of the nation. And going forward, it'll be easier. It'll be easier when we get to qualifiers because we already have that momentum. But there's no way of us now playing all these games and not having the momentum. We're losing, we're drawing, we're chopping and changing. When we get to the qualifiers, the confidence, there's so much imbalance. So let's start winning games and build that mentality. So that when
there's
we
only
get
one
to the
solution, gentlemen.
Yeah.
No more friendlies. Every game must have some sort of stakes. Every game must be for something. And then that way, what do you mean no? What do you mean so?
I mean, Kamza. When you say no more friendlies, is the same as saying let us not train and go and play.
No. I'm saying the distinction, right? I'm saying I hear what Brighton is saying, in that momentum. I'm saying when you first qualify for something, surely after that, right? Once you've done it, they're going to be friendlies, they're going to be this, there's going to be that.
Yes.
That's when you keep that core and that nucleus and you move forward. But we haven't qualified for nothing. That's why I'm saying it's okay for Hugo Bruce to look at whoever he wants because we still need to qualify.
Gamza, I think. Can I say something? I think Brighton. I think Kevin, the way forward. Look at who does it best. When you look at the Senegal team that have just won AFCON, 99% of those players don't play in Senegal. They play overseas.
Right.
Okay? So they are strong already. AFCON team that won 96 for us. 99% of those players were local
Overseas
players.
play.
Local.
No, they were local players.
No, they were local.
Remember, they were local. Madiba only allowed them freedom after 94, my friend. And then you look at World Cup, the 2 World Cups that Brazil won, 99% of all those players played overseas.
Right.
99%. There were maybe one from Flamengo, one from Palmeiras, something like that. But 99% of them played overseas. So what do we have to do? We have to set some form of structure going forward. For example, now the whole team must be playing in the PSL. I don't want the overseas team players with me. Only the PSL players with me. I'm going to France. I'm going to play with them. They are, because how many of our players play top football overseas?
Not enough.
True.
Which ones are playing in the top leagues overseas? None. I think the highest at the moment is not Tembazwani, the one that plays for Armenia.
But it can't be. He's in League 2 over there.
He's in League 2.
He's in League 2.
No, but Lebo Mutiba is
Lebo Mutiba is in League 1
as well, guys. He's in League 1 and he's playing regularly.
He just come back from injury.
He just came back from injury. Yeah,
he's 1 out of 25.
Yeah,
and Lebo's a quality player. I'm not taking it away from him, right?
Yeah.
You have Kabomedo Holisang. He's young. He's the young player. He's playing League 2 also. You have Gift Links playing League 2 also, somewhere in Denmark. Cabomelo's playing in Portugal, also League 2. Who else is playing League 1? Brighton. We have to cut this now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got Tibang Pete also in.
And we have Lyle Foster as well.
Premier League in Portugal.
But I
Lyle
think
Foster is playing where?
Comparison in Belgium.
Lyle Foster is playing in Belgium.
And he's doing well. He's doing well.
He's playing second division in Belgium.
First division. So I'm saying, John T, what I'm saying is we need to cut somewhere and then we need to bring. Because what's playing overseas is mainly your front players.
Yeah.
Defenders playing overseas.
Yeah. But we need to be honest as well to say when we make those comparisons, we need to, when we make those comparisons, we need to be honest and say, I look at a Lebo Mutiba, when we're talking about continuity, he was at AFCON as a regular and he's doing well in France. He just got back. And then we have evidence Mahopa who's been given chance after chance, chance after chance, chance after chance playing for Baroka. And he's still, and then we were talking about the front line. And for me, I still believe that let's strike a balance in a sense that to say, yes, we are trying. We're talking, if with Lebo Mutiba, he's young. We're talking about age. Lyle Foster, he's young. I believe that Gift Links, they are young. These are the players that we can build around them in a sense to say, if an Evidence Mahopa is not well or a Pesitao is not well, then we still have...
Then you still have those two. No, but Brighton, what you're saying is right, but I'm saying is now. Now, someone has to go and say, okay, here you are, South Africa only. Go play. See what you... When you come back, give me a proper lineup, and then we bring the next one, we bring these in to build around these ones. Because your team, if honestly speaking, Gamza, your team going into 2023 AFCON is going to be made up of 60% South African players. Local players. players playing in the PSL. You have to say our PSL is strong enough to have 60% or 70% of the team coming from the PSL. True. Because we can't get overseas.
No, for sure. Now, there we go. Those are very important questions, and I think we know the answers to some of them. We hope some solutions are profit in the next few years. I mean, we have a big old job in getting these boys to get firing again, and it's definitely not Hugo Bruce's alone. So there we go. We're giving you a good almost 2 hours of Tuesday night action in lieu of missing out on Monday Night Football. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us this evening and has been along for the journey. We'll do it again next week. And a big ups to my panel, full house tonight: Calvin Sosibo, Kevin Johnson, John T. Mark, Brighton Mlonga, and running the desk behind the scenes, none other than SPUMB. So for myself, Kamumbata, to you guys, until we meet again, have a good week, have a good evening, look after yourselves, and please stay tuned, stay subscribed, stay liking the videos. We'll bring more. Until next time,